Hello, everyone, and welcome to Melissa Neill's Live. If you don't know me, my name's Melissa Neill. I have my own channel here on YouTube, and I'm really excited to be doing this live because, believe it or not, I haven't done a live for 12 months. I do an annual live normally in January. And so it's absolutely amazing to have all of you here. Thank you so much for joining. Please let us know in the comments where you are in the world, and why are you here? Why have you joined us live? I would love to know, just to make sure I'm covering the right topic for you guys. So Manuela says hello from Willich, Germany. Now I always struggle with pronouncing people's name. It looks like Michelle from Houston, 50 Fine Health, Detroit, Michigan. We've got Abby in the chat. So Abby actually works for me. Abby, Karen and Cisco, and she's here as a moderator, and she also is going to kind of put links and maybe answer people's questions. She's also going to be helping me out a bit, so she's got a big job today. Mr. Jangle says, I'm Lindsay from London. Oh, well, I'm not that far from London. I'm actually going to be going to London tomorrow. I'm going to be going to Brixton, if you're in Brixton, Lindsay. So, yeah, I will be going to London. I actually live in the southwest of England. So I live in a place called Portishead, which is very near Bristol. And Priscilla says she's from Brazil. So let me know where you are and why you're here. I would love to know why you joined this live. Maybe you just joined to say hi. Maybe you've got some specific information. And I would say, if you have a question that you want answering on this live is going to be all about transforming your body over 40. That's what it's about. That's what my channel's about. That's what I'm about, really, as a person. I'm going to talk about what I'm about in a bit. But if you could let me know why you're here, and if you want to get in a question early, by all means, do that. Helen's from Zambia, Pam from Texas, Laura from Georgia. Karen says, love your YouTube videos. Well, thank you very much, Karen. I do appreciate that. I do, I try my hardest to sort of make sure everybody's got the information they need to get in amazing shape. And I will kind of talk about that in a minute, really. But that's my promise, really, to you guys and anyone that watches my channel or who sort of comes across me, is that I want you to have the information you need to get in amazing shape. And that's kind of it's my vision, really. My vision is, because when I was starting in this journey, I didn't have the right information. I had the wrong information. And so I did lots of things wrong. So I'm really, really passionate to help women my own age get in amazing shape. And hi, Celeste. Celeste is one of my clients. Very nice to see you here. I'll just put her up here. Thank you for joining. She knows all of this, Celeste, because she sees me about twice a week, I think. So she's going to learn nothing new from joining on this live. But thank you so much, Celeste, for joining. I do appreciate that. Celeste, actually, she's on one of my programs, currently one of my programs, and doing very, very well, aren't you, Celeste? So inches lost, looking better in her pictures, although you can see she looks amazing already. So yes, thanks very much for the shout out, Celeste. So yeah, it's great to have you here. So Mr. Jangle says, I want to get control of my sugar cravings. I'm 54 and have a sweet tooth, and it has got worse. Right, well, let's just talk about this, because I hadn't prepared anything. So I like talking about random questions. I kind of quite like that. Now, what I would say about sugar cravings is, you said your name was Lindsay, wasn't it, Lindsay? I might see you in London tomorrow, Lindsay, so we can have a chat about this a bit more. But if you've got sugar cravings, there's actually a biological reason it's happening. So that's the first thing to understand. And you can often find that they just appear out of nowhere, and you're like, well, I've never had sugar cravings before. I've not been really interested in sweet things. And then you get them in perimenopause and menopause because your body's changing and there are a number of things happening. Your hormones are depleting. You may also find that you're more insulin resistant. And insulin resistance is when your body can't sort of control its blood sugar levels. Your pancreas cannot control the blood sugar levels. So you get these blood sugar spikes. And then what that leads to is kind of weight gain, amongst many other insulin resistance. It can actually lead to a lot of modern day diseases, for example, type 2 diabetes. So, but it doesn't mean if you're insulin resistant that you've got type 2 diabetes. It's really important to say that. So that can lead, insulin resistance can also lead to blood sort of sugar cravings. And you can find that you then go on this roller coaster where you want some sugar. So you have something sweet, particularly in the afternoon. You have an afternoon slump and it's like, oh, you want something sweet. And you get that huge like sugar rush, if you like. It's a bit of a pick-me-up. And then you have a slump again. And then that leads to you getting more sugar cravings. So, that's the first thing to say. It's like a biological reason. And then, of course, it can be habit forming. So I remember the Christmas before last, I made some sort of fruit cake and they're called mince pies in the UK, but they're like a sweet thing. And I couldn't I had a couple of those over Christmas and it was really hard to stop eating. So it's also really, really habit forming. But I would say, Lindsay, some of the keys are getting enough protein in, and we're going to be talking about that today. It's really important because it's going to keep you satisfied. So you want 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight. So it's like, getting enough protein in is going to really, really help. Getting enough dietary fats in, good fats though. So we're not talking about trans fats, we're talking about good fats like olive oil, avocado, that kind of thing. Because again, that kind of keeps you satisfied. It's having a few tricks up your sleeve. So I tend to have things that are a little bit sweet, but trying to go for natural sugars. So it's like fruit. It's using things like monk fruit and stevia drops to add to your food. So you can sort of partake in having a sweet thing, but it's not actually sugar. That's really helpful because it can trick your mind into thinking, oh yeah, I'm having sugar and so I feel satisfied. So I hope that helps. It's not the whole story. I could literally do this whole live just about sugar cravings. And I do tend to do these. If you join any of my programs where you get kind of a weekly call with me, this is something that I do tend to cover in a lot more detail because it's quite complicated. And so you really need to sort of understand some of the things that you can do to sort of find the solution. Of course, the other big one is sleep. Sleep, and I'm going to be talking about this in a minute, is getting on top of your sleep can really avoid things like sugar and carbohydrate cravings. Because if you've got a lack of sleep, that's going to cause sugar and carbohydrate cravings. So there's just a few kind of simple things there. So I am going to be sharing screen in my own inimitable style because we've come here for a reason, haven't we? We've come to learn, and It's absolutely amazing because there's 136 of you. So welcome if you're just joining. I'm talking about how you can transform your body over 40, even if you're in menopause. I'm going to be taking some questions. And just as the ticker tape says at the bottom, I'm going to be talking about my transformation challenge and how you can join that as well. So moving swiftly on, today I am going to cover how you can get the body of your dreams, even if you have low energy. Let me know, do you have low energy? I know from time to time I have low energy. It's not too bad at the moment, but I do have my ups and downs with it. Let me know if you're experiencing low energy and menopause symptoms. I would love to know. And how is that making you feel? Because low energy is a menopause symptom, by the way. It's one of the biggest menopause symptoms. No one told me this. No one told me I was going to suffer from low energy. Because when you're pregnant, people say you're going to get low energy, don't they? But they don't tell you when all the plethora of symptoms you can experience when you're going through menopause. One of them being weight gain, which is what we're going to talk about today, overcoming that. So if you have any of those low energy or any other menopause symptoms, it's just completely normal. It's absolutely normal, and luckily we're starting to understand this. And then just to let you know, sort of towards the end of these slides, I'm going to be talking about my $15,000 prize fund transformation challenge. This is really exciting for me. It's something that I've been wanting to do actually for years, because you may have seen that there are other of these transformation challenges, that there are a number of them around, but none of them do them for women over 40, the cash prize transformation challenges. And what I thought to myself is, when I compete in bodybuilding shows, I compete in categories that are for over 40s, over 45s. But when I was looking at these transformation challenges, nobody either had like a category, and they didn't specifically do them for women over 40. Now, you might say to yourself, well, why is that a problem? Because it's much harder for us to lose fat and gain muscle and get in shape. It takes longer. So if we're competing against a 20-year-old, and sometimes I have done this when I've been in bodybuilding competitions, I actually managed to place third, and I was quite pleased with myself when I was in, it was a category called wellness, and they didn't have a category that was for older ladies. And so I was competing against much younger women, and I actually managed to place, but that's actually really hard because you're not on a level playing field. So I'm going to talk about that at the end. And I just wanted to kind of say a little bit about me. So my name's Melissa Neill. I kind of run my own fitness and weight loss programs for women over 40. And now we've actually had, I'm proud to say, through our paying programs, over 8,000 women. 8,000 women, and many, many more that sign up to my free stuff. So I've got a free nutrition guide. Maybe Abby can put that in the chat. I've got a free nutrition guide that's available on my website. I think it's 27 pages, a 27-page free nutrition guide. And I have a free 7-day fitness and nutrition program all inside my app with video tutorials, and that's free. You never have to pay for it. You just download my app and you sign in and you sign up for that. You will never be charged. It's not one of those things that you have for 7 days and then they hit you with a charge. That is not the way I operate. because I wouldn't want that happening to me. If you download that free 7-day program, it's yours for life. You will never be charged. And I always sort of think I like people to be able to have that free, so they understand exactly what they need to be doing to get in shape. And then if they think, yeah, I'd like to go into another program that's a paying program, they've actually had a flavour of what it's like. And so, yeah, that's what I'm about. I run my own fitness and weight loss business for women over 40. And so the sort of front end of that is this channel where I love on YouTube to teach other women how you can get in amazing shape, no matter if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond, even 80s. So, I interviewed Ernestine Shepherd from my channel, who's my absolute hero. It's like a dream come true. And she's in her 80s, she's 87. So it shows it's never too late to start. If you're thinking of starting and you're like, you're in your 60s, 70s or 80s, it's never too late. I started in my late 40s. So the picture on the left was me. I made a ton of mistakes over 2.5 years, not getting it right. And then I went on to getting it right, learning about competitive bodybuilding. And, that's the picture of my first year of competing. And then I brought what I learned from that experience into my programs. So that's really a little bit about me. So, I absolutely love helping women. That's what I'm here for. I feel like I've been sort of given this blessing of having an audience like you guys to talk to, where I can help you achieve the body of your dreams. And so when I get like messages and comments and, emails, whatever it is, and people sort of say, oh, you've really helped me. That is, to me, that's like I've reached success. That's my goal, is to just help as many women as possible, have the right information so they can achieve the body of their dreams. So do grab a paper and pen, because there may be some things you want to write down. There will be a recording going up of this into YouTube. But of course, because I'm a big talker, it's going to take you a while to watch the recording back. So you might want to just, grab a paper and pen, and then you can sort of just write the key points. Or if you're like me, I use this, my Apple Notes. That's what I absolutely love, to take notes. So whatever suits you, really. So I'm going to ask you a question first of all, and I'm going to list some experiences out that I've had, or I know other women that I've worked with have. And there's 6 experiences. Could you let me know in the chat, just by putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? You don't have to write it out. Just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take a look now. Have you experienced any of these problems? I think I probably experienced all 6 of those at one point. I'm going to go first. I pretty much experienced all 6. So Andy Britt says 1. Heidi says all of the above. Yeah, me too. It's really common to feel like this. Emma says 1 to 6. So I'm hoping that when we go away, Emma, you're going to have a solution as to not experiencing some of these things. But, on average, women at this stage in life can gain about sort of, I think it's 8 kilos, 20 pounds, 8 to 9 kilos, 20 pounds. And, Dawn says 1, 3 and 4. Yeah. So it's like, and now I used to get women coming to me saying, I've put on weight because of COVID. And actually, you know, you can be doing, obviously, that was a long time ago, the whole, you know, the COVID thing where we were having to stay at home, and we're well out of that now. But I think that a lot of women were mistaking that for actually, no, they were going to gain weight anyway. Because when you're going through menopause and you just do exactly, if you were eating the same way and exercising the same way, the chances are you're going to gain weight. And some people, it will be that 8 or 9 kilos, 20 pounds. Some people will be more, some people it'll be less. And it definitely happened to me. I think it was like 5 kilos, not as much, you know, 10 pounds, because that's the average. You know, if some people breeze through menopause with no symptoms, some people have an absolutely terrible time. And I see this, you know, you see some comments on social media and you see people going, it's just this stage, get over it. Women have been going through it for thousands of years. But the thing about it is, women didn't live this long thousands of years ago. Life expectancy was much shorter. And so, you know, it is very much a sort of modern phenomenon, isn't it? Because people are living much longer lives. So Mr. Jangle says, I have gained exactly 20 pounds. So hopefully you don't feel so bad about it, because you know, it's not your fault. You can be, and most women are, eating exactly as you were and exercising exactly as you were. And that's what happened to me. And I still gained weight. So that's the thing. It's not something that, you know, oh, Susan Bennett. Hello, Susan. How are you? You came to my masterclass, I think, didn't you? And how are you doing? So you say, I am past menopause. I'm 64. However, the middle zone waistline is way too puffy for me. You know what I mean? I know exactly what you mean. And I think it's probably the biggest problem, isn't it, Susan? It's like the biggest problem with, you know, menopause and like weight gain. It's that midsection, and there's actually a biological reason it's happening around your midsection, because when your estrogen has depleted, you know, your estrogen is depleting, your body's trying to make more estrogen, and in doing that, what it does is it sort of makes more fat, and it typically sits around your midsection. So there's kind of a biological reason it's happening. The other thing is, again, going back to insulin resistance that I was talking about before. Insulin resistance tends to make the fat sit around your midsection. So, you know, we all experience this, and then that sort of leads to you're feeling low. I felt so low in that picture, not being able to wear the clothes you want like you used to. You can't enjoy vacations or holidays because you think you don't feel good in your swimwear or you know, more revealing clothes, and you just don't feel sexy anymore. I thought I was over the hill. I thought that was it for me. I'm like single, which obviously I'm not single anymore. I'm not single now. But at the time that I was going through all this, I thought, oh, you know, I'm over the hill. This is it for me. And of course, you know, there is hope, which we're going to talk about. So let's just have a look at some of the. Susan says, but I am following your food plan and working out, and I'm seeing a change. Well done. That is absolutely amazing. Well done to you, Susan. It's about trusting the process. So that's, it's Katura here. I just put, sorry, I've done Angie, not Katura. This is, hello, Katura, how are you doing? So Katura is also one of my clients that's decided to join. But as I said earlier to Celeste, you're probably going to know all this, Katura, because we talk, don't we, most weeks. So I do these lives with my clients where we deep dive into some very specific challenges and solutions about sort of menopause and weight loss. So I just wanted to sort of ask you another question as well. Have you been told this is how you lose weight? I'm sorry, it hasn't gone up yet, so I'm just going to click calorie deficit. In other words, oh, it's just calories in and calories out. That's all you need to do. It's just simple. Move more, eat less. That sort of thing. Have you been told that? Is that like super frustrating? I find it super frustrating because when I started my channel in 2019, I actually started my channel. I can't believe it's actually been over 4 years. It's like 4.5 years. And I used to see all these influencers going, it's just calories in versus calories out. And it used to make my blood boil because I sort of think, well, it's not the case for menopausal women. It doesn't work like that. How many of you have tried? I know I did, tried calorie deficit. So eating less and moving more. Of course, it worked when you were younger, probably. You just did things like, oh, I'm going to take out the takeaways. Go for a run 3 times a week. That's what I did. To take out the takeaways, go for a run 3 times a week. And that solves everything, doesn't it? And of course, when you get to this stage in life, it just doesn't work anymore. Oh, hi, Glenn. Thanks for joining. I'm giving a shout out to all my clients. So Glenn says, hi, my fat gets bigger from morning during the day. It definitely does. So I'll let you into a secret for those of you who are doing my transformation challenge. When you do your after photos, do them fasted in the morning because the pictures are going to look much better. The pictures. So, you know, this is what I do when I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show. I take my pictures in the morning so I can see myself at my best. The lighting's better, obviously, but not when you're taking them in the dark, but also you look better because through the day you can get a bit more bloating, water retention and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's really a big problem. And I notice now influencers, not just menopause influencers, moving away from this, just saying, oh, all you need to do is be in a calorie deficit. Because the thing is, we wouldn't have an obesity problem if it was as simple as that. Just eat less, move more, right? It's just not as simple as that for anyone of any age. But of course, at this age, and we're going to be talking about it, it's like way more nuanced than that. And, you know, that's why I wasn't having results, because I was trying to create a calorie deficit and it wasn't working. And so you've got to sort of, you know, that is, of course, you do need to be in a calorie deficit, but that's not the only thing. So you need to be eating fewer calories than your body needs if you're going to lose body fat. But it's just not quite as simple as that. So I'd love you to tell me, you know, as well as what hasn't worked. What have you tried and it hasn't worked? I'd love to just like read out a few of those because, you know, it's always good for me to know. I know for me. So Heidi says, yeah, lots of cardio. So I found that was what I was doing. I was doing tons of cardio. I was doing endurance running, training for half marathons, and I just seemed to put on more and more and more weight. Because the problem with that as well, we'll talk about it, but you do kind of get a bit hungry when you do endurance training. So what doesn't work? Eating more salads, eating plant-based. Yeah. Poison Ivy says keto doesn't work for me. It's not sustainable. No, it's really hard to just completely cut out carbohydrates, isn't it? Because if you've got to go anywhere or do anything, you're stuffed, really. Anyone? No one's mentioned intermittent fasting. I tried intermittent fasting. It didn't work for me. So so yeah, M. Davis says intermittent fasting becomes stagnant even if you vary the fast. And Glenn says low calorie, lots of endurance. I think you mean intermittent fasting. Yeah, so what I did with intermittent fasting is I sort of started off with a fairly gentle 16-8, which, I think that's fine if that suits you. It doesn't suit everybody. Some people, they suit it better to just get up and have some breakfast. And I eat breakfast and, I'm in pretty good shape without having to do that. And some people, it suits them, well, I'm not going to eat breakfast because it just suits me, and that's okay. But what I found is I was having to push my eating window further and further into a smaller window, and it wasn't really getting me results. I was kind of stalling with it, and then it was a bit stressful and I was hungry all the time. And now I'm not hungry all the time. I'm much more comfortable. So for me, I know people ask me about this and they sort of say, well, what do you think about intermittent fasting? And for me, I just think there's just as many people that say it doesn't work as it does work. So I just sort of think it's not really necessary. If you want to do it, do it. But if you do something like extreme fasting, you're not going to get enough calories in. And what's going to happen is your metabolism will slow down. And that's exactly what we don't want when we're at this stage in life, because we got really slow metabolism. Donette says, good morning, all from Texas. I'll just put this question up before I get into my answers of what doesn't work. I can always get started and I start to see results, then something happens and I lose my momentum. So that's really common, because and I haven't really got all the answers, and I know it's really, really common because I think what's happened with diet culture is we're often sort of told a lie. It's like, oh, you go on this diet and you lose weight, and then when you finish, you come off the diet. But it's not really the way forward. The way forward is to find something that's sustainable for the rest of your life. So that's what I do with my own body, and the women that have worked with me and sort of achieved success is you find something that's, or even they're watching my channel and they, I see the comments and they say it's really working well for me, because what they're doing is implementing something that's actually sustainable. So when some people talked about like, oh, if you're doing tons of cardio, it's like, it's not really sustainable for hours and hours of running every day and stuff like that. Or, you're doing some kind of extreme diet. It's not really sustainable. And what you want is something that's sustainable in the long term. So that's, we'll just go to what I say doesn't work. And you might be surprised to learn just working out. Working out alone doesn't necessarily work. How many of you are working out, but you're not seeing results? That was me. I was working out and I wasn't seeing results. How many of you, perhaps you're a gym member and you go in the gym and you see people, they've been there for years. Every day they're in the gym and they never change. They're the same. It's like, that was me working out 7 days a week. Now, I've got to tell you, I do not work out 7 days a week now. I work out 5 days a week, even though it's my job. And we're going to talk about this because my body needs recovery time. My body needs recovery time. So I can't work out 7 days a week, because when you're older, you need more recovery time than you did when you were younger. So, yeah. So some of the things that don't really work, sort of going into a bit of a detail about it, because a lot of like the programs out there, I'm not going to name any names, but they're just a one size fits all. There's nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely okay, because they do a really good job of that. It's just a one size fits all. So it doesn't account for things like our hormones, our declining metabolism. And often, this is a huge one for me, is I help women work on their mindset, because I strongly believe, and we're going to talk a little bit about mindset, it's kind of 90% about mindset, because that's what's going to carry you through. We just heard from someone that really struggles to remain consistent, and that's not unusual. That's quite common. And so you need to work on your mindset if you're going to stay consistent, because consistency with the right kind of activity, the right type of nutrition, will actually yield you really amazing results. So it's like, if you can work on your mindset, and there's some self-help tools, I'm going to give you a few tips today on it, that's going to sort of carry you through. Because these women that you see that are like, they look amazing. I've had onto my channel some of them, and I'm going to be having some more, but I've had Ernestine Shepherd, I've had Renee Landers, who is a 71-year-old bodybuilder as well, and Ernestine Shepherd's 87. What they've got is an incredible mindset, because they didn't let any like perceived disadvantages hold them back, and they stayed consistent. So, sorry, I'm just moving forward. I've lost my place in the slides. Right. So just talk about a little bit about what happened with me, and like with coaches and sort of PTs, because at the time I was sort of starting my transformation journey in my late 40s. So I'm 56 now. There wasn't really anybody that specializes in like menopause to sort of point me in the right direction. So some of the things that were happening is I was giving too much cardio. When I say, you might sort of say, well, what's too much cardio? I say ballpark over 30 minutes, ballpark. That's like probably too much cardio, over 30 minutes at one session. I just do 20 minutes. I do 20 minutes post my strength training now. I'd go in and like, I'd do an hour, or I'd go for a run for an hour, stuff like that. And that's like way too much for a menopausal woman. Why? Because what's going to happen is you're going to lose muscle when you do that sort of intense cardio for long periods of time. It's really okay to walk for hours, because walking it really goes fantastically well with strength training, and we're going to talk about this. But like retaining and building muscle, you can when you're walking, but when you're doing too much of the other kind of intense cardio. So I had a lady come to me, and she was doing triathlons, and I've just made a video about her 10-week sort of body recomposition that's just gone up on my channel. Abby, if you wouldn't mind sharing that link to that. But she's a client of mine, Karen, and she was doing like triathlons, and we switched her over to strength training. She got it was just like almost overnight, the change. Problems with sort of PTs and coaches, not all of them, but they don't necessarily understand about menopause. They'll often take the calories too low. So then it gets into that we were talking about, it's not sustainable because it's so low, it's ridiculous. And then when your calories are too low, what happens as well is your metabolism starts declining. So you have to be careful. You don't want to be on like 1,000 calories a day. And often they'll get like, it's a poor training schedule. It's not structured. So it's like, you know, we're going to get into strength training, but if you're doing a strength training, you know, you don't just want to rock up at the gym and have no structure to what you're doing, which is exactly what I did at one point. It's like, oh, I'm going to rock up at this gym. Oh, what am I doing today? Oh, I do a bit of this and a bit of that. And it's like, no, you need a written plan of what you're going to do. And it needs to be structured out. And it needs to be, by the way, mostly compound lifts, which are lifts that use multiple muscle groups, because that's going to really boost your metabolism, those lifts. So things like bicep curls, they're no good, but squats are amazing. You're still going to do a bit of bicep curls, but the main focus is going to be the big lifts, like your squats, your deadlifts, your push movements, your pull movements. Carry movements are great as well, sort of carry movements. So really the main message for you guys, and you may sort of think to yourself, I'm repeating myself but some of you will be new. You might even just clicked on this live and thought, oh, who's that woman? What's she talking about? I'm curious, I'm going to watch it. And so if you're just joining, my name's Melissa Neill, and I specialise in over 40s and menopause weight loss. But the key message is you can't do what you did in your younger days and see results. Doesn't work anymore. And you might have been even one of those people that did that thing if you're doing what you did in your younger days. And I did like that. I lost a bit of weight, but you can see it's all still retained around my midsection because I was doing too much cardio and low calorie diets. And so you have to kind of like really just throw all that out of the window. And it's very counterintuitive. My method of fat loss is very counterintuitive because we've been sort of, I don't know what the word is. We've grown up with this idea of certain types of weight loss. So it's either diet, we've been conditioned, that's the word. We've been conditioned to get on the scale, and everything about the scale is so important. When I started sort of getting interested in fitness in the 80s, it was all about aerobic classes and that sort of thing, wasn't it? So it's all that sort of thing. It's like, oh, if you do a fitness class, you lose weight. Or it's like, oh, you go on a diet and then you come off a diet. And like the scale weight is the most, in your mind, you've been conditioned to think scale weight is more important than anything, when actually it's not at all. It's not the most important thing. So with my method and like this over 40 method, and you might argue, apart from point 4, that everyone else has started jumping on this bandwagon now for younger people, not just people our age. But when I was talking about this in 2019, when I started my YouTube channel and I had about 3 subscribers, I was talking about this and I was like an outlier. No one was talking about what you need to be doing is strength training. Why? Because if you build muscle, you're going to improve your metabolism. You're going to improve your metabolism. Your metabolism is waning. So isn't it amazing that there's something you can do about it? And there are so many other benefits to strength training. It's going to help with your longevity. it actually tackles insulin resistance. So if you've got type 2 diabetes, guess what? Your doctor should be prescribing strength training. You know, it's going to help with your balance, your mobility. It's going to help with your bone health. It's going to prevent osteoporosis. So there's just so many benefits. But what I love about strength training, it really improves your metabolism. And so, you know, that is an absolute game changer. And, you know, this is the thing, it requires a bit of patience, because building muscle is not like with a young person, they can do it like really fast. The other people that really benefit from strength training and can get improvement pretty fast is if they've never done it before. It's called like newbie gains. But for other women, we're going to need to spend some time on it. You know, so I know some people will say to me, which is very nice, oh, I want to look like you. I've been doing this for 6.5 years. So yes, you can look like me, but I prefer people to look like themselves, you know, like a better version of you. I think that's the better mindset to get into. It's like, look like the better version of me and what I can do. But, you know, this lady here, Elaine, she did that in 10 weeks. She improved her body composition. She put on muscle with strength training and she lost fat. So it is absolutely possible. And the other thing that will really help with your metabolism is high protein eating. I like to talk about 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight. So like if you weigh 150 pounds, which I'm trying to think what that is in kilos. Let me just check that. I'm usually good at doing it the other way round, but not, I guess slightly, because you sort of half it. I think it's probably 70-ish kilos, something like that, but I'll give you the numbers because otherwise, you know, I know lots of people be hearing you. Yeah, so it's 68 kilos. So, you know, if you weigh 68 kilos or 150 pounds, you need to be eating 150 grams of protein per day. And I've actually got a video on how to do that. You know, that's a ballpark. If it's slightly less than 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, that's okay. I don't like, it's just a really easy figure for me to give you, for you to remember. But if it was like 0.7 grams of protein per pound in body weight, that would be okay, because that's still a really high amount of protein. You want to do some cardio. I love high intensity interval training, but you don't have to do that. You can do walking. You know, walking, you don't have to worry about doing it in moderation. To be honest, I walk 45 minutes a day. I walk 45 minutes on a gentle stroll every single day. Why? Because it really helps with my mental health. It helps my metabolism. It helps my digestion. It's just an amazing form of exercise, which I absolutely love. So, you know, walking is a great friend. So I've stopped my slide share there, haven't I? Walking is a great friend to women over 40 because it's easy to do. It's not hard on your joints. It's not, you know, we talked about lacking in energy. So you kind of have to start like prioritizing things. So if you're going through one of those episodes like I did, and I made a whole video on this, it got actually quite a good response where I was just completely exhausted. I just prioritized strength training and went out walking. I didn't do anything else. So I was like strength training 4 times a week and then walking. You know, you don't even have to do it 4 times a week. You might want to do strength training 2 or 3 times a week, especially if you've got something like an autoimmune disease or other medical condition. You will find that you can really benefit for strength training and then letting your body recover. So recovery is really important, and that's why I don't like women at this stage in life to be working out 7 days a week. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times maximum is good, because you're going to always need that recovery. Your body needs it, and you will find your body probably responds a lot better to exercise when you give yourself enough recovery. You know, generally people need it, not just women, men too, when they're older, need recovery time. I keep talking to my partner about this, because if I think he would go to the gym 7 days a week. So I sort of have to talk to him about it and say, actually, you do need recovery time. So the other big area is actually sort of, I suppose, working with your hormones. Point number 4, working with your hormones, not against them. So yeah, I talked about recovery. Sleep is absolutely massive. So this video that I just put up yesterday with my client Karen, we did a big focus on her sleep, because when she came to me, she wasn't getting nearly enough sleep. Now you might say to me, well, I just can't sleep. How many of you are struggling with sleep here? I know I did, and I do still from time to time. I'm not going to be, you know, it's, you know, it's something that we have to be intentional about. So I've had Dr. Natasha Ryan on this channel talking about it, and she's like a menopause doctor. You have to sort of get intentional. You have to put in sleep strategies, sleep hygiene strategies, things like losing technology right before you go to bed, having a regular sleep routine. So you go to bed and get up at the same time every day. You know, like when you have a baby, your baby has a regular sleep routine. So, you know, with my babies, they had a bath in the evening, and then you have this like winding down time with them, where you settle them down, and then you always put them to bed at the same time every day. That's what we need as adults as well. And unfortunately, with modern technology and like overstimulation, really stressful lives, you know, lots going on. I got this like pet hate in my house that if the television is on and then somebody's got their like, they've got their mobile device and they're like, it's turned up really loud. It's like sound pollution. It's all coming from different directions. And it's like, you just need that winding down time. And, you know, I haven't even put it there, but stress is a massive one. Stress is huge. If you're really stressed, you're going to find it hard to lose weight, lose body fat. It's going to make it. So Luli says sleep and consistency. And of course, if you're really stressed, you're probably not going to be getting much sleep. So some people have been on my lives and they're like, I'm really stressed, but I want to do one of your programs. And I honestly say to them, you need to address your stress first, because you know that's more important than anything else. Now, just implementing some of these things like walking can, you know, and mindfulness can help you, you know, address your stress levels. But that is like one, you know, sleep and stress can be so disruptive to your hormones that you're going to find it's a real struggle to lose body fat when you're too stressed. You're going to have these like cortisol levels really up high. You may find you have problems with your thyroid if you're highly stressed as well, and your thyroid function. actually sort of regulates your metabolism. So they're kind of, we've been dealt a really difficult card at this stage in life, where it's not just about, as I said, calories in versus calories out. It's not as simple as that. Your body is a bit more complicated and nuanced when it gets to this stage in life. And so there are other things. And then your nutrition, as well as eating the protein, you want to be taking care with your nutrition, that you're eating whole foods. Someone mentioned plant-based eating. I don't have, plant-based eating in itself, as long as you're not eating some of the overly processed stuff that they sell in the supermarkets. I mean, we've got a whole aisle in the supermarkets now in the UK of this plant stuff, and it's all, highly processed. But if you're not eating that, it's okay, and you can still get your protein in. But you want to be eating the whole foods. You want to be eating things that are going to really work well with your gut health as well, because your gut can go off, which again can lead to weight gain. So, it's things like eating fermented foods is really, really helpful. Kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, even taking a probiotic if you're finding you've got problems with your gut health. Taking a probiotic and a digestive enzyme can be really helpful. And that is all going to just help with regulating your hormones, because if your gut's off, and you've probably seen all this Zoe stuff now, they're talking about it with everyone, not just menopause women, this Zoe stuff about, actually looking after your gut. So it means eating healthy kind of whole foods, less processed foods. The fewer the ingredients on the packet, the better. So if you can buy food that just has one single ingredient and keep the processed stuff to a minimum, your body's going to respond much better to that than eating sort of lots of processed. So that's where, your calories in versus calories out, it doesn't really stack up. Because if you're living off processed foods, but you're in a calorie deficit, it doesn't work that well. So Stephanie says recent insomnia has been horrific. So I'm just going to put this, because it's it's so common, and I sort of really brushed over sleep quite quickly. I have made a video all about sleep as well, but it just takes, and there are some, I haven't talked about supplementation. So you can look at supplementation, because one of the things is it can just get you back into a good, consistent routine when it comes to sleeping. But what's happened, Stephanie, is with the hormones, you'll basically find when you get to a certain age, it's one of the first signs of perimenopause. So Dr. Natasha Ryan talks about this. She's come on to this channel. She's done some lives, and we've done some recorded interviews. And she says, like, one of the first signs of perimenopause is waking up at 3 a.m. and not being able to go back to sleep. So it really is a problem, as well as the plethora of other, symptoms. And so you do have to sort of be really intentional and kind of work on it, because, I was waking up at 3 a.m., still do sometimes. So, the thing about it is you can take some supplements that will help or can help with just getting that regular sleep pattern. So as well as the sleep hygiene, you can look at things like ashwagandha. L-theanine is another one, which is kind of like an amino acid. Those two, Dr. Natasha Ryan, she recommends highly. I do ashwagandha. Even sort of magnesium. So I've had clients where I've just got them onto magnesium, and they take it at night. They found helpful. Now, it's no secret that I take hormone replacement therapy, and as part of that, I actually take progesterone. And that was an absolute game changer. So I started going to like an excellent menopause clinic here near where I live called the Bristol Menopause Clinic. I've done a couple of videos about me sort of going there. And the lady there, she prescribed me the progesterone at night. And it was an absolute game changer. And I know when clients have gone on this progesterone, you just take a tablet before you go to bed. It really did help. So it's something worth considering, you know, the hormone replacement therapy, or even something like melatonin is another one that can be really helpful with sleep. Yeah, so Ingrid says, I take magnesium at night to sleep well. And I know clients that have done this and it's really been fantastic. So just have a look at those supplements, Stephanie. So yeah, that I've kind of sort of brushed over it. I'm going to sort of talk a little bit about mindset, and I actually did this on my masterclass a couple of weeks ago. So I'd like to ask you guys this same question to see what you say. Do you think you have the right mindset to reach your goal? So just answer in the chat, yes, no, or maybe. Because, you know, I can sort of, we can't cover a whole sort of, you know, I could literally do this whole live, and we've been here for over an hour now, on mindset. I love doing a mindset, stuff on mindset. I do, you know, a lot of my teaching when I'm working with women. We do a lot of our Monday, we have a Monday call. You know, often I will do them on mindset quite regularly. It's one of my favorite topics. Ingrid says, I do with the help of the structure of the challenge. Yeah, so it's like if you've got, so yes. So Lou Jones says, yes. Vanessa Morgan, yes, you are in the mindset. Angela, maybe. M. Davis, yes, I do now. Mariana, not always. Chantal, maybe. So yeah, it's the thing I have to sort of regularly work on my mindset, because it's not something you can sort of think, oh right, I've worked on my mindset and now it's fixed, everything's great. It's not quite like that. And so it's something you have to sort of continually think about. And like, this is another question for you that I asked a couple of weeks on my masterclass. Are you prepared to get out of your comfort zone to get to your goal? Answer yes, no, or maybe. Because I would say, because, you know, with how we've traditionally thought about like fat loss, weight loss, you have to do things a bit differently. And so you need to get out of your comfort zone. And those people that say, yeah, if you're not already, you could be a good candidate for winning my transformation challenge. Because, you know, to win something like that, you are going to need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, or maybe a lot. So these are two things, like working on your mindset, get out of your comfort zone. I've had to do so many things that are out my comfort zone to get to my transformation. It's like prepping your meals up the night before, getting really, really organized when you know you've got to sort of train before work or after work, whatever it is. Doing some things that just don't come easy to you. You're all it doesn't matter what you want to achieve in life. So, you know, it could be like finding love. You're probably going to need to get out of your comfort zone to find love. Start a new business and be successful. You know, career, do something amazing in your career. You're going to need to sort of get out of your comfort zone. So, you know, it's just a bit of food for thought, really. M. Davis says yes. Glenn Collins says, I have to work on mindset every day. Yes, if I have faith in the process, I can do it. Absolutely. So yes, quite a few of you are prepared. Thunder and Light says, yes, but it's hard to change behaviors and patterns. Absolutely. Because those are the habits you've formed over a lifetime. So to change them, apparently, the research says it takes 60 days to change your habits, to sort of form a new habit, 60 days on average. Some people it'd be a bit quicker, some people longer. So that's like, you always kind of bear that in mind. It's, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. And the transformation probably needs to start here in order to achieve sort of body transformation. So just a few like pillars, I would say, of mindset. It's really important to take control and action. So there's this excellent lady on YouTube called Mel Robbins, and she talks about this, doesn't she? So like, it's not procrastinating. It's like, right, I'm going to start. Well, when am I going to start? I meet with some women and they go, oh, it's not the right time for me to start. Well, when is going to be the right time? It's never, if you think like that, it's never going to be the right time. Or if you turn it around, if you're like really, really busy and you've got loads on, that is exactly the right time to start. Because if you can do it then, you can do it anytime. So, it's like, you've got to take control and take action. Start it tomorrow or today, writing your list out of what you actually need to do to get there. Start taking control and then taking action, because taking action is the thing that really makes you feel like you're moving the needle. As I said, be prepared to get out of your comfort zone. I know women that say to me, well, I don't like weighing out my food. I don't like doing that. But like, you're going to love the results you get from weighing out your food. That's the thing, isn't it? And you don't have to weigh every single thing out. You probably don't need to weigh out your veggies. You're going to have to sort of build some self-belief. So how you talk to yourself is really important, your inner narrative. So I know people who sort of say, I'm not very good at, and you can sort of fill in the blanks, like, I'm not very good at staying on track with food. Well, of course, you're not going to be very good at it if you say that to yourself. But if you start saying to yourself, I find it easy to, and you fill in the blanks, I find it easy to get up half an hour early to get my workout in. I find it easy to meal prep. I find it easy to nourish my body with the food it needs. Those are like much better things to say to yourself. Those are, then, the narrative that you have in your head and how you believe in yourself is so important. And then, I didn't have a great deal of self-belief before I went on my journey. I used to sort of think, well, there are these like Amazonian women over there and they look amazing. I could never look like that. I started to change the inner narrative and I started to sort of believe, I thought, if I put myself in the right position, so that's doing all the process things that I needed to do, they're called process goals. So that's like your workouts, your nutrition, your sleep. Those are all your processes. I've got every opportunity to do just as well as anyone else. And I might even win, which I did in bikini competitions. So if I put myself in the right position, I've got every opportunity to succeed. Say that to yourself. The other thing is, we don't do this as women. You've got to make yourself a priority. Who makes themselves a priority? I make myself a priority. I didn't used to. When I was in my previous relationship, my marriage, I put everybody before me. M says, good, this is good. This is very good. We are beautiful, strong, and capable. What an amazing narrative. That's the sort of thing that you've got to tell yourself. You know, those are the sort of things. Sometimes you just got to stand in front of the mirror and like love yourself as you are. We have a lady that comes to talk to my women about all this called Hema Patel. She comes and talks to us about like loving ourselves as we are, not hating ourselves. And, you know, making yourself a priority, there's nothing wrong with that. Women, we don't like to do that. We like to sort of put everybody else first. But, you know, if you do that, if you prioritize your health, everyone around you is going to benefit from that. I prioritize my health. My whole family benefits from me prioritizing my health. I'm able to look after them better. I'm a better person. I'm probably a nicer person. I'm not so angry all the time. I'm happy because I'm happy because I'm healthy, partly because I'm healthy, healthy mind, healthy body. Yeah, so Soul Dad says, if I put myself in the right position, I have every opportunity to succeed, just like anybody else. When you actually delve a bit deeper into some of these women that I talk to, who is like absolutely amazing lady, and some of these women I talk to, you'll know sort of some of these influencers that just look amazing. One of the things is they don't have a sports background and they've been doing it for years. They don't have like this special thing that they've got this competitive physical advantage. What they've got is they've just got like really good mindset in abundance. It's about having an abundance mindset. You know, like there's so many, you can take the women like you sort of Joan McDonald's, who she's in her 70s, that transformed her body in her 70s. You know, Rennie Landers, that's been on my channel, transformed her body in her 60s. You know, they didn't have all this competitive advantage like a sports background or fitness. They didn't do all of that until they were older. They just had a lot of grit and determination and a really good mindset. And remember, you can always say no. You may need to say no if you really want to prioritize yourself. You may need to say no to people, no to things that maybe don't serve you anymore. I love saying let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. Because like there are some things that are just not going to serve you while you're on your health journey, on this amazing journey, transforming your health is going to transform your whole life. I can't stress this enough. And it's transformed my whole life, so much so that I'm talking to you guys about it now. But you know, you're going to feel incredible and amazing. And it's like, there's nothing better than having really good health, is there? So making it a priority, there's really nothing wrong with that. And if somebody in your circle has a problem with it, it's their problem, not your problem. That's what I would say. So I'm gonna move on. And I do carry on and ask questions, because I'm gonna take some questions as well. I have been answering questions as we go along, but I'm going to talk about this 8-week transformation challenge, and just talk about the prizes first. And I'd love to know, you know, what would you do with that money? if you're sort of thinking about signing up, or you have already signed up for this 8-week transformation challenge, which the deadline's actually next week. It's the 31st of January, so it's quite soon, the deadline. If you won the $10,000 cash prize, what would you do with that money? And one-to-one coaching with me for 6 months. What do you think you could do with that? I'd love to know. It's probably not a life-changing amount of money, but it certainly helped. Or even the $5,000, the second prize is $5,000. And then we've got like third prize is coaching with me, and fourth and fifth prizes funding towards coaching. But I always sort of think, I love to say I think everyone's a winner, because if you kind of made improvements to your body shape in that time frame, you're going to feel like a winner anyway, aren't you? And you've just got this extra incentive. Lisa G says, if I won, I would save some money, pay for a functional doctor, and take a mini vacay. So that is actually fantastic, because all of that is about, I was hoping people weren't going to say, I'm going to spend it on my kids or something, buy them a car. Because like you're actually going to use it towards your health. I think a functional doctor would be really money well spent, and a mini vacay, or even saving it, because that's going to be useful for you. So yeah, definitely, I love that. Emma says invest in gym equipment, and that would be awesome investment in yourself. Susan says, get an amazing bikini and go to Hawaii to visit my 5 grandchildren. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, one of the things I found is like, it was like, oh, I can wear swimwear now. I can wear a bikini and I can feel comfortable in a bikini. So Ingrid says, so you're not so interested in the money. Well, one-to-one coaching would be amazing. My family reunion is in Jamaica in 2025, so the money would help. Also redo a lot of things that need redoing in the house. So yeah, that is it. You've got your eye on the prize, Ingrid, then. Oh dear. So what you get. So that's the website address. It's also sort of along the bottom. We've just got a short website address, so it's really easy to find, but you can actually go directly to my website to find it as well. But that's like, we've just got to it's strongwomen.life. So www.strongwomen.life. That's where you can start. So I'm just going to run you through the different options of how to enter. So there's the standard program, which is $97, and you get huge value, or you can pay in 2 payments. You get huge value. It's an 8-week transformation program with all your meal plans, shopping lists, video follow along workouts, but the workouts also come as PDF downloads in case you don't want to do it from the app and you just want to print it off or have it stored somewhere so you can just do the workout without having to watch the videos. We've got a private community. It's not Facebook. We actually have a community in the app. So some of you probably hear, we're doing a live Q&A on the 1st of February, then another one in March. And it will also include your competition entry. So that's like the standard entry. You get to keep that program for life. That 8-week program, you get to keep it for life. If you sign up now, you can start it right away. The official start date is the 1st of February, but you don't have to wait. You can just start right away. Get your shopping list, go out, buy your food and start your workouts tomorrow or today, because for some of you it's quite early, isn't it, at the moment. We also have a premium program where you get the same as the standard program, but you get 12 months access to my Strong Women Club. And that means you'll get weekly live calls with me, bit like these calls, but we do like a real deep dive. You've got access to all, like a ton of workouts, a ton of extra meal plans, recipes, and that also has a community. So you, after the 8 weeks, you'll still be in a community for a whole year if you sign up for the premium program, and all the kind of workouts and meal plans that come with the Strong Women Club, which is a standalone program. And that's actually worth, because it's normally $69 a month, that's actually worth $888, just that program in itself. So you're getting like a huge discount on the normal price. And then I believe there's only one of these left. I think that's right. Am I right, Abby? There's only one of these left, the VIP version. So you get everything in the two versions that I've just shown you. So everything that you can access in the standard program and the premium program, but you also get 8 weeks access to small group coaching, 2 coaching calls a week with me, and you also get 1-to-1 coaching calls with me for over that 8-week period. So it means you can kind of maximize your support over that 8 weeks, but you will get a whole year in that Strong Women Club as well. So those are that's all I had. Just remember to go to strongwoman.life to sign up for that. I'd strongly advise, if you want that VIP, you need to get on that, because I only made 10 spaces available and there's 9 already sold. So there's only one to go on that. And if you do sign up, I will look forward to talking to you. You know, and actually all of you, if you decide to sign up for any of that. So I am going to kind of take a few questions now. So I'll go back to stop sharing so you can see me. Let me have a look. Of course, Abby's actually put the questions, I think, in a spreadsheet. So Lisa G says, can you explain why you've chose German volume training over progressive overload? Well, the thing about it is, Lisa, I'm sorry I can't get your question on the screen because Abby's actually made me a spreadsheet of all the questions. So what you'll find in the 8 weeks challenge is there's German volume training, which is extremely effective for fat burning. And it is 10 sets of 10. And it's really good. It is progressive overload. You're still getting progressive overload with German volume training. It's just that you tend to sort of go lighter, but it's classic progressive overload, because progressive overload isn't just achieved by the volume in terms of how high the weight is. It's actually achieved through volume of training. And in that instance, German volume training, which is 10 sets of 10, which in the program, you only actually do those on lower body. You don't do that on upper body. But what that does give you is progressive overload. So there's no difference. It's amazing. And women who've done this on my other programs, including me, have gotten amazing results. Now, what I would say is you can start off with doing it with no weight at all. Or if you want to start off with something like 5 sets of 10 and then build up to getting towards 10 sets of 10, then you can certainly do that. But I know I always get these questions, and it's funny because I've made a video right at the start of the program explaining German volume training and why it's in there. And that's exactly what I've just delivered to you. So if you have signed up for the program, just go in and ensure, anyone else this is, that you actually watch all the content, because you'll see that most things actually do have an answer about why it's there or what you need to do. I'm really passionate about giving people real direction when they join one of my programs. So there's a question that was asked really early on. Galen, are you still there? About hypothyroidism, which I'm going to answer because I think it's really useful, because there's probably more than one person that has hypothyroidism. So Galen says, am I able to get into the best shape of my life even if I have hypothyroidism and take thyroid medication? Absolutely. So I work with lots of women that have hypothyroidism, which is very common at this stage in life. And, I can't give a figure on it or the percentages, but it's definitely really common in women over 40. And yes, you absolutely can. And it's just that you've got to pay attention, particularly on the nutrition side of things. And we have a nutrition plan in the 8-week program and in many of my other programs, specifically for women with hypothyroidism. It's called an anti-inflammatory meal plan. And so what you want to watch out for, if you've got hypothyroidism, you're going to suffer, even if you're on medication, you're going to find your body's much more prone to inflammation than the regular menopausal woman. So you do want to avoid things like gluten and dairy. Yes, the same with Fonda's talking about Hashimoto's. So this is a very similar sort of question. So the nutrition is key. So you need to follow a nutrition plan, which we have in the 8 weeks challenge, where you're not going to cause inflammation in your body. So that's cutting out dairy and gluten. Those are the main culprits. And also soy. Soy is the other one. No gluten, dairy or soy is really beneficial for people with Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, because Hashimoto's is one of the biggest causes of hypothyroidism, and it's an autoimmune disease. The other thing is exercise. So people with Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism are much better at doing strength training rather than cardio. So again, you absolutely can transform your body and get in shape. I've actually got a really good friend of mine called Danny Native who is in really good shape, and she's got hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. Well, I'd highly sort of recommend you to also check her out, because she comes in and does some coaching with my clients as well, because she's an expert in Hashimoto's. She's a health coach in Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. And so it's just paying attention to not the overuse of cardio. So for people with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, it's generally better to be focusing on your strength training and probably walking and strength training, yoga. Some of the more like high impact cardio can cause inflammation. The intense cardio can tend to cause inflammation. So I hope that helps, and do let me know if and it's the same with any kind of condition, autoimmune diseases. You can get results And you absolutely can do this. And I work with women, you know, that have got these conditions, but you have to be mindful of inflammation. So it's getting the right nutrition, it's not overusing cardio, it's paying attention to recovery and rest, which are really important. It's paying attention to sleep, because lack of sleep causes inflammation. So Mia's asked, what do I think of slow motion training? Absolutely amazing slow motion training. You know, so that's when you're doing your lifting at, you know, controlled and slow. And what that's really good for, and I do this quite a bit, is you don't necessarily have to go heavier when you're doing slow and controlled movements. So it's really good for people who are using home equipment, for example. It's really good if you've got injuries, or you've got, you know, you've got some kind of shoulder issue or back issue or knee issue. Doing things slow and controlled, once you slow the movement down, it's a bit like I was talking about 10 sets of 10 reps. When you slow the movement down, again, it's giving you progressive overload without actually increasing the weight. So it's really fantastic for that. And I use it quite a lot because it gives you less risk of injury. Someone says, Tiff says, does the time of day to work out make a difference with transformation? I always say the best time of day to work out is the time that you can fit it in. So for some people, that's like the morning. I'm a bit of a morning person, so I like to get it done in the morning because I have less energy in the evening. You know, when I was going out to work, I work from home now, but when I was going out to work, I'd always get up early and do it in the morning and get it out of the way. But, you know, people in the bodybuilding community would go, oh, it's better to do it later on when you've eaten loads of food, because then you're going to get better performance in the gym and, you know, be able to lift heavier and your level of intensity is better. That may be true, but if you're really tired by the end of the day, that might not be the best time of day for you. So I always just say it's when you can fit it in. And, you know, you do get these people that say, oh, it's good to do your cardio fasted in the morning. Yeah, it can be beneficial, but it doesn't really matter. It's just such a small margin. And now there's lots of studies out actually coming out and saying, actually, no, it doesn't make that much difference doing it fasted or not. So you just do it at any time of day, because whenever you can fit it in is the best time of day. So Tammy Rose, are you still there? I've got your question up about walking with dumbbells. I kind of got this a bit of a thing. Tammy's asked how I feel about walking with dumbbells. And I think it's quite difficult because you might find it's actually just quite hard. But what you can do is walk with a weighted vest, because then it's distributing the weight evenly all over your body. I'm quite a big fan of weighted vests. I think they can have, like, you know, really, it can really level up a walk to make it quite intense. So that would be my preference, to, you know, do what, rather than sort of taking dumbbells out for walking, which can be a bit awkward. So Maria Duran says, hi Melissa, question, will you offer the premium program again after this challenge is completed? Not financially suited for me at this time. So yeah, it's always available as the Strong Women Club, and it's $69 per month. It's just that with this premium program option, it's at a vastly reduced price because you're paying for sort of 12 months up in advance. So I'm going to take a question about loose skin, and then I'm going to sort of stop there because I think there's been a couple of questions. And I did see one earlier that someone asked about loose skin. Let me just read this one, and then, because there's sort of two of the similar, if I can find them, of course. It's always really hard. Abby's done an amazing job of putting questions on a spreadsheet for me, which really helps. But there was, and I can't find it. Oh, my concern. So GT says, my concern is losing 50 pounds will cause saggy skin during menopause. And then Michelle says, hi, Melissa, you always look great. Thank you very much, Michelle. Did you deal with loose skin when you improved your body? If so, how did you get rid of it? So yeah, I've still got a bit of loose skin. It's not very extreme. And what I would say, so the things that prevent loose skin are, don't do rapid weight loss. If you do rapid weight loss, it's really hard for your body to sort of catch up. And so, that is like with all my methods, with my over 40 method, with strength training, small amounts of cardio, it's not rapid weight loss. So that should sort of minimize your loose skin and sagging skin. It's also sort of making sure you're kind of using some sort of oil, like bio oil. That's what I did. It could be a little, that can be helpful. And, making sure you're strength training as well. Now, obviously with strength training, it's not about your skin, it's about the muscle behind it. But you can make it, when you've got the muscle behind it, it's going to look a whole lot better because your skin's kind of going to be stretched across the muscle. So those were the things that I can sort of recommend. Now, for people who you've already got loose skin, there's not a great deal that you can do about it. I know I get messages all the time about it, and it's like, well, it's a question of surgery, isn't it? People that have got really extreme loose skin, it's going to be a question of surgery. But as I say, you can kind of mitigate it with how, you're losing weight, as in, don't do rapid weight loss. Yes. Oh, I see. So M. Davis says, I meant the challenge standard, a one-time fee, so not the premium. So we may well run the challenge again. And we're sort of considering, we're not quite sure whether we're going to just open up that 8-week challenge as a general program. So we may well do. And depending how this one goes, we may well run it again, and we may well sort of, open up the 8-week challenge as a sort of just standalone program in itself without the prize money. So you just have to sort of watch this space really, and do sort of get in touch with us. So yeah, I've tried to answer as many questions as possible. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. And, don't forget to go to that website, strongwomen.life. You've only now got until the 31st of January to sign up to that. I know like many of you have already signed up. So, and I know there's lots of you that are actually here, and, also on my other programs that are here, which is great. So I hope to see you very, very soon. Have a good rest of the day. And if you sign up for the challenge, I'll see you on the 1st of February. Bye, everyone. Thanks very much.